It's finally happening. We have the Primarch. Don't miss this one. Spiking bits. Alright, Hobby Maniacs, what's happening? Rob Baer here with you, taking a look at the new Triumvirate of the Primarch. That's right, the very first plastic normal Primarch, not super baddie Magnus, is finally here along with Cypher and Valdor, the Grandmaster, or Valdis, the Grandmaster of the Third Brotherhood. That's the librarius for the Grey Knights. And of course, Cypher, the man, the myth, the legend himself, and Gilliam, resurrected from the dead using Tom Cruise witchcraft magic and of course the technology of Boucher's cowl. So here they are. You can see here fantastic product shots of all of them, including all of their little bits and bobs and things that are on them. Of course, the strong hand sword right here on the back of Cypher's backpack, and then of course Gilliam with all of his new bells and whistles, the Hand of Domination, the Emperor's Sword itself, and the painting guide right there. Now once you open it up, you will see that it once again features the inset Triumvirate box that is just kind of the generic box with that whole quarter till midnight motif, or 5 minutes till midnight motif that we've seen in all of them, but of course the different back to it, right, which you can see right there. Fantastic display piece right there. Triumvirate of the Primarch stamped in foil right there, and there it is. Once you open it up, you will notice that it has the awesome little black tray that is full of all of the pieces. Of course, it comes with the instruction manual and a little kind of lithograph type deal of the new models that are in here, perfect for framing or getting your favorite author or 40K personalities perhaps to sign this. So there's that one right there, and here's the instructions. And then of course for the sprues themselves, you're going to have 3 big sprues for Gilliam, 1 sprue for Valdis, and 1 sprue for Cypher. But we're not going to jump the gun and get to that quite yet. We need to take a look at these instructions right here, because that's where they keep the good stuff, right? So opening it up, we kind of have an idea of how Gilliam is going to go together. He is kind of like that, what is it? I want to call it push fit, but it's not exactly push fit. My buddy Cody came up with something, he said it's like push fit but not, or snap fit but not, because that's basically what it is. It's that all that computer splices that goes in here kind of at a weird angle. Like, look at this, how they do the armor plates and then they go on to basically a little stud. So it's not actually part of the model, it's just like a superstructure that you're attaching these armor plates to down here on the legs. Even the torso itself is not multi-part. It's in multiple pieces, but it's not multi-part like the way that we could take the torso and put it on something else, or, you know, even attach the different arms and things to different pieces. Now, still, the shoulder pads, the weapons, some of the backpack is separate, so you can always paint all that separate. But, you know, if you're looking for more of a traditional type conversion experience here, this may not be the thing for you, because it looks like all of this stuff just goes together a certain way. The base, of course, is super dynamic. Now, I was theorizing that it is on a larger base than a 60mm base, and I actually don't have one handy, so I'm going to dive into the case here, because I'm actually I have a strange hunch that this base that Gilliam is on is actually 80mm. So I'm prepping a 60mm base to compare to, and we'll see. I have not spoiled it for myself yet. So here's the rules for Gilliam right there, 350 points. He is a literal brick shithouse of rules. He will wreck whatever he touches. Now, a lot of people out there are like, oh, he only moves 6 inches, he's only a monster screecher. That's my internet nerd troll voice. Well, it turns out there's a lot of psychic powers out there that can move you pretty fast. And now that we see in the new rulebook that there is a formation that you can look out Sir to, it gives him a lot more survivability if you're willing to put the points into getting the things that come into formation. But something about Stern Guard hitting on 2s tickles my pickle, something fierce. So I am all about that new formation, and the fact that it also has a lot of offensive output as well. Gilliam, if you can protect him and you can port him around the table using some of the new psychic powers that are out there, even levitation is super good. He will wreck whatever he hits. There's very few things out there that can deal with this guy in close combat. For 350 points, I think he is well worth it in my personal opinion. But again, a lot of naysayers out there salting Gilliam's game, saying, hey, he can't walk fast, so he sucks. Well, It's like Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. And that's what might happen to a lot of people out there regarding Gilliam, I suppose. All right, jumping over to Cypher himself. Well, again, more multi-part, but not quite multi-part. Push fit, but not push fit. Kind of engineered plastic characters here. All sorts of ridiculous ingenuity went into making this kit, which I gotta admit that when it comes to painting these things, they actually kind of plan it out pretty well. Mold lines are hidden for the most part. A lot of things like washes have the ability to just disappear when you put them over the model, because all of the little joints and things will soak up those kind of washes. So I like what they're doing and how forward thinking they are, even though on paper it appears quite weird. You know what I mean? So again, none of this makes sense in a conventional term of a multi-part figure, except for maybe the backpack goes down separately and perhaps some of the weapons are separate. But at the end of the day, Games Workshop definitely knows what they're doing when it comes to designing models, and I feel like I cannot dispute this fact, even though my engineer brain may not quite like the way they're laying out this figure right here. So kudos to them. I'm on board with this. Cypher is 190 points. I have not compared his rules to his current rules that are kind of like the hidden rules. I think they put it out as a data slate back in 2013, but then they also updated them in the secret compartment inside the Dark Angels Collector's Edition Codex, which a lot of people completely missed. You can check that out in our video review here on YouTube as well. But I have not compared these rules to them because this is a first look at the box themselves. A lot of it appears different, but again, don't know for sure. Please leave the comments below on that one. I'm sure by the time that I get around to the weekend to starting to do my tips and tactics video, I'll have a lot more to say about Mr. Cypher. And Grandmaster Voldus, 240 points. Still kind of jury's out for me on his points effectiveness as well. I do like the Thunder Hammer swinging, or the Demon Hammer swinging in Initiative. I'm all aboard on that one. As far as the model goes, again, another multi-part push fit, but not push fit kind of figure. It does look like you can swap out the head if you're looking to do an epic head swap. But I mean, look at this. Like, you've got the stone attached to the foot. That now you attach the Thunder Hammer in two different parts. Like, you got to line that up right, or that'll just look wonky, I feel like. So also in some of the pictures, it looks like they cast the bolter with the bolter, or the storm bolter with the holes drilled out. It looks like that is not the case according to this render right here. Now, I have not compared it to the actual plastics themselves. You have seen about as much of the plastics as I have. I just got this into my hot little hands, and I figured we'd cut the video real quick. So there they are in living color with all of their painting suggestions right there via the folks at Games Workshop. So here is the moment of truth. How big is Gilliam? Well, here's a 60 mil base, and here is a 60 mil base. Boom. Looks like he is indeed on a 60 mil base and not an 80 mil base as the perspective seemed to suggest. But that's the thing about perspective sometimes. It's all about how you view them, right? So here's Gilliam's Sprues. Nothing too crazy that we didn't see in that little rules or the instruction manual right there. Let's zoom in on these, give you guys a good look at them. So again, a 3 sprue kind of kit. He is a 54mm scale figure. You can see these shoulder pads and such right here. There's those wonky armor plate things that go over top of the little leg stud kind of things. All sorts of greaves, wires and things that go into the back of the Armor of Fates, which kind of looks like a Ghostbuster proton pack in my humble opinion. Just throwing it back there to the 80s. And then the Iron Halo and his crazy feather regalia that goes over his backpack. Here's part of the model that is on the base, the dead Black Legionnaire Chaos Marine, and then some of the little eagle kind of thing right there. So all looks expertly detailed, very well laid out on sprue as to keep damage to a minimum in packaging, but also to have enough room for the parts to be presented themselves. And there's Cypher and Voldus. Nothing too crazy there, nothing we wouldn't expect or haven't seen in the past. Alright, so there he is. So we've got Cypher with his ginormous separate backpack. I didn't realize until just seeing that backpack is separate. He's got a hand that's separate. The bit that we saw in the rumor engine back in the day is also there. This doesn't actually look too bad. It looks way different than in the instruction manual, so I am not hating on this whatsoever. very bigger scale figure than what we're used to or have seen in the past, that classic model from the 90s right there. And then Valdis, again, slice and dice when it comes to the actual model itself. Not a fan of how they did the Thunderhammer right here, but as long as everything lines up, I'm on board with it. Just be super careful when you're assembling this guy or you'll have a wonky hammer. Nobody wants their hammer wonky, right? And remember, you can always switch out the head right there as well. So it looks extremely detailed. I'm very excited to get this guy on the table. And there, yep, you can see they did not drill out the barrels themselves because it is right there on the sprue gate. So not so much that was actually done after assembly, post-production there. So again, a very good looking set from Games Workshop. Now this one is clocking in at a whopping, and the most expensive of all three thus far, $90. Dun dun dun. But again, it's one of those things that it is a first for a lot of different reasons. I mean, Cypher and Gilliam, who expected that? I don't even know. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching our first look review and unboxing of the brand new Triumvirate of the Primarch. Now we will have our first look on the actual codex itself here on the channel about the same time as this video. And of course, our tips and tactics will come out next week where we go over all of the rules in the new book in more in-depth video format as well.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.